All right, let's see. Let's slow this down a little bit too.
Yeah. So, I mean, those force fields are pretty bad.
Yeah,
But they do
still,
keep a
this
few units from shooting.
this Protoss force is falling so quickly to even supply army.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, the problem is not so much that gateway units are bad, but just that the Marines do so much damage, and the Marauders are really good against Stalkers also. It wipes the floor with it. Now, what I would love to see is a Terran kill it. He kills the Nexus, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see how we can stop the Nexus from being killed.
Yeah.
And right now we have Terran still looking like they're massing up a second part of an army for reinforcements.
Now, what's bad here by Terran is that while he was doing this, he should have been expanding himself.
Yeah.
Because he also has that in base natural.
So, like you're saying like most good Terrans at this
Most
point
good Terrans would expand themselves
Okay.
here. He looks like he's trying to go for a kill with a bunch of injured Marauders, which is not a good idea. He probably didn't even need the force field. He probably could kill those with his immortal.
And so this is where I guess it didn't have energy for a second force field. But in a normal game, that's where he would keep force fielding and just be kind of stuck in his base for a while.
Yeah. You need to have 4 sentries in order to have a continuous force field, which is 400 gas too. First of all.
Okay.
And 200 minerals. So that's a lot just to keep your ramp force fielded. Just to not die. That's a lot. That's a large investment.
Yeah.
So Protoss is rebuilding his expansion. It's real. I think it's a really big mistake here, by the Terran to not have expanded during that.
Yeah. I mean, he got his lead, but okay. So the main point, we already got to the main point that you were discussing. The main frustration of like, okay, Terran can do this early push, and it just wrecks you, and is my only choice to just be locked in my base until I'm ready.
Yeah.
But if I want to expand, and
So
I can't.
here he has the critical number of sentries that he could. He really needs to use only 1 force field. If he used 2 force fields with 3 sentries, Terran could actually force his way up here, honestly. Because with 3 sentries, you're gonna run out if you're doing double force fields, and eventually with 3 you're gonna run it anyway. He really needs another sentry. And there he goes. There's the extra sentries. That can keep the ram force field indefinitely. But now, so think of any normal map where your natural is in front of your base. Now, in this situation, the Protoss is really basically screwed because ideally the Terran would have expanded by now already during his first push. And at this point now, the Protoss can't move out with what he has.
Yeah.
So he's denying the expansion continuously. There's no way that Protoss can get an expansion right now. Ideally, Protoss would have some Colossus, but ideally Terran would have a second base and be able to get some Vikings. So this is a little bit of a weird scenario that he didn't get Colossus and that Terran didn't expand.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why Terran keeps trying to get up to the front when the back door is just wide open, and a little missed force field right there, but still this Terran army. And this is where the example goes a little wrong, where the Terran army,
Yeah, Terran shouldn't be. Terran's doing bad decision making right now. Like he shouldn't be trying.
There should have been an expansion. All right. Well, anyways, so you want to move on because I feel like the point is made. We can. We
can even watch the rest of this on faster. I mean, the Protoss, to spoil it a little bit, the Protoss comes back and wins, but he really shouldn't. He shouldn't be able to. He gets his Nexus up again, and he does a strong push. So, I mean, but really, if the Terran executed properly, if he got his expansion up after his first push, which he's getting it up now, finally.
Yeah, like you get the contain. I mean, that's the whole point of StarCraft. You get the
Yeah.
You get your guy locked in, and then you do what else you need.
Now Terran is behind on supply where he was ahead previously.
Yeah.
And this is not gonna be very effective. So with all of those with all the zealots that he had, plus he had even brought his probes. Plus, did he storm?
Yeah, he stormed.
Plus, he stormed. So, I mean, really, part of the problem too that I see with this matchup is that, that in order to fight Terran Bio, the production capacity of Terran is so fast that in order to fight Terran Bio efficiently, you really need to have splash damage. Zerg gets that in the form of tier 2 in the form of Banelings. But Protoss doesn't get that until they get Colossus or High Templar, and those are both tier 3. So I feel like during that tier 2 phase, when you're going to want to be expanding, is when Protoss is really super duper weak because they don't have splash damage and the Terran is reaching that critical mass of infantry.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on to the second point of all this.
Okay.
We've documented the problem.
Yeah, so basically we wanted to show you guys, if you're a Protoss player and you've been in that situation, like I'm sure you have, where you want to expand and you just don't have enough stuff, and the Terran's outside your base with infantry units, and you keep having to force field your ramp, and you're like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Well, that's the point we wanted to get to. Like,
Yeah.
like we want you to relate with us. So now we're moving on to, we have some ideas about
Game
what maybe
2.
you can do.
All
Let's
right.
go.
Just gotta find it.
Are we still?
Yeah, we're still
going
on
right now.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
It's crazy technology.
Yeah, we can just constantly go.
Yeah.
We can do it one time.
You ever get? You want to do it one time?
Do one time?
You will do it one time.
One time. One do.
I mean, might as well.
Yeah.
Um,
This is right now. You're looking at the replay folder of people who do Starcraft commentary.
yeah, all the things that get sent.
It's like the largest replay folder with the
Yeah.
most like. Normally, like I name all my replays with the same names.
Yeah, it's very confusing. I was actually thinking I need to kind of delete everything and start over.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what anything is anymore.
Yeah.
And things are like have numbers and letters and like weird codes that once made sense to me.
Okay, so this is actually my favorite Protoss player
Negative Suns. Yeah.
versus a Terran on ladder.
He sucks.
Yeah. Who, the Terran or Negative Suns?
Jugard, the Terran. Everyone who plays Terran is an asshole.
Yeah.
I always say that, and it's true.
No, it's not true, but
It is true. Remember,
They are annoying.
We both had a friend that played Terran. Look what happened to him.
Yeah. Anyway.
In jokes.
Anyway.
All right, so you
now-
start this game and you're like, I hate Terran. GSL sucks. I'm not gonna have Protoss, and you're sitting there crying into your keyboard.
Okay, so here's some of the ideas that I have about this matchup for
Do you
Protoss.
jerk off to Protoss?
Well, the first idea is about your expansion timing. Is that Protoss is usually try to expand in this weird mid-game time, like after they have a bunch of gates and are starting to get Colossus.
Okay.
Which I feel like is like a very bad time to expand for them, personally, because it's right when the Terran is strongest. So I feel like the best times to expand as Protoss is either like a lot later than that, after you won base for a little while,
Or much earlier.
or very early, like right after your first gateway. But this isn't that. This is showing a much later expansion.
Yeah.
And ideally, you don't want to expand until you get way ahead of the Terran, or the Terran expands. Seems simple, right? That seems logical. So the build that I'm using here is actually, I do it a little differently than this now. I actually got this idea from some people have been using in Protoss vs Zerg. People have been using this 2 gateway stalker build.
Okay.
To get a lot of early pressure on the Zerg.
Oh, see, I like that.
That's actually the least important part.
I
of
know,
the build.
I know, but let's sidetrack and tell me about this for a second.
All right, but then I want to talk about the build order.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to. The point of that is just he actually really overreacts.
Okay.
I mean, that's actually because of what he's doing. He really wants to get his add-on up.
Okay, but what's the point?
The point is just to block a tech lab, because I'm going to be doing early stalker pressure, like I
Yeah.
kind of already said. I don't want him to get a lot of marauders out. Stalkers are really pretty good against Marines, actually, when there's no marauders. And this is my build order is actually, I've changed it so that way it's 2 gateways then core. And you put the gateway at 15, and then you put the core at 15 after you get another 150 minerals, and it times out so that the gateway and the core finish at the same time, and you can immediately make 2 stalkers. You can even chrono boost them out straight to the Terran.
Okay, so you make gateway and then then you make second gateway and core right after, and they finish at the same time.
And then
you can
stalkers
make 2
finish at the same
stalkers
time,
right
and you
away.
chrono boost them, and they get to the opponent's base by like, I don't know, it's hard to say exactly, like, but they get there like before 5 minutes usually, if you do it really fast and correctly.
Okay.
And this build is even stronger on any kind of map where there's a back door, or where you can put a hidden proxy pylon.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we'll talk about it more as it happens, but basically, I get a lot of stuff before I expand.
Yeah.
So the idea is to turn the pressure onto the Terran, and as you can see, the Terran is getting hit tech lab.
Okay. So you're reversing the scenario of saying like, okay, well, I don't want to be locked in as usual. I'm sick of being locked in. And
Right.
you're an aggressive player in general, so you like to have map control. And so this is pretty much your solution for now, at least.
This is one of my solutions. Like I'm also, like I said, I'm also working on expanding with 1 gateway.
Expanding with cheeseburgers.
Yeah, expanding with 1 gateway really early,
1 gateway cheeseburger.
so that your economy's kicked in by the time the Terran can push you, and you can have more units in him to defend.
So your first stalker is out, and this is what you're talking about, the difference in timing, where in your new order of the build, these 2 stalkers would be there at the same time.
Yeah, and then you can start pressuring right away. I don't really like pressuring with just a single stalker. A lot of Protoss do a single stalker pressure against Terran.
Well, who likes to be single?
Yeah, exactly. It's just lonely.
Yeah, look what it does to people's brains.
I know, and actually, I
Look
don't
how
even,
good you got at StarCraft.
I know. I don't even. I don't even push. I don't even push with the 2 stalkers. Actually, I wait for more usually.
While you're pushing with stalkers, I'm pushing shit into bitches.
Yeah. Hey, who has the child here?
Yeah, that's true.
Uh-huh.
My sperm's dead. or just, you know, or no girl wants it to be alive.
Yeah. Anyways, the point is that when you get up, when you're fighting a Terran, my thoughts on this is that when you're fighting a Terran on a ramp, it seems almost foolish to be poking up with 1 stalker.
Yeah.
Because you know they're going to be walled in. So you might as well wait and show your full hand once you have like a full house, so to speak.
Yeah.
To use poker terms.
Yeah.
Like, and I get a little greedy and I want to kill that supply depot, but I lose a stalker. I could have totally avoided that stalker loss by sending not that stalker and only the other stalkers.
But what I love is, like, this is also a perfect map and position for the Terran, because, you know, on some maps that tech lab isn't as revealed.
Yeah.
So I like that, you know, you even using that positioning of the way the add-on is facing to just keep sniping that tech lab to deny the 1 unit that counters what you're building.
Sorry, I paused you because I wanted to catch this one key part, is that as you so right now at the front I have I think 4 stalkers. It would be 5 if I
had 5,
if I hadn't
but you
lost one.
sucked.
So, but at this exact timing, you also add your 2 gateways. So your 2 gateways are finishing now.
So these 2 just finished.
Right. So you're gonna have 4 gateways, and if you look at, I think my chrono boost, my warp gate is done. Yeah, it should have just finished. So a little while ago.
Okay.
So really, I'm gonna unpause now. You can go back to the thing that you wanted to say.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you get the warp gate and the four basically you do a 4 gate. And you're doing stalker pressure. It actually works pretty well even if you're just pressuring the front. And then you would want to put a proxy pylon, like, sort of not in a super vulnerable place, like not right outside their ramp. But here with a back door like this, I'm able to just do it in the back, which is even more effective.
Yeah.
This works on Jungle Basin too, Blistering Sands, any map with a back.
And so yeah, now you're splitting the army, going front to back,
exactly.
front to back.
And this is
like, what are your priority targets right now? Like, right here, it's to draw it away and get some SCVs. Are you still trying to get snipes on?
well, right now the best thing that could be happening right now is that he's not mining.
Yeah.
So these extra kills are just sort of extra, right? But
Yeah.
also the thing is really whenever I can kill a few Marines or units, that's the next ideal target, because it's lowering his unit count and preventing a strong push in the mid game.
Okay.
Even if I lose stalkers, like these stalkers are all going to die.
Yeah.
But
I know that.
and I know that. But by doing this, I back them up into corners so they can do the most damage that they can. But by doing this, I'm basically preventing him from doing a strong push in the mid game.
Yeah.
Plus, I think I killed. That's the second tech lab I killed.
Mm-hmm.
I killed 2 supply depots, and I'm gonna get this reactor core.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of stuff too with the stalkers at the front. Usually you don't get that much, but usually what you do is you force him.
Dude, he said it, not me. No.
Usually do force him to be very defensive.
Yeah.
With his units. And actually, the cool thing is that stalkers have a much higher range, like have a greater range than Marines.
Okay.
So until they get Marauders out, your stalkers actually outrange the Marines, so you can micro against the Marines really well.